Hello, Salesforce Trailblazers. On behalf of Salesforce United Community, I'm glad to see you on today's Tech Talk. And today we are going to discuss with you Chat GPT capabilities and how they can amplify expertise in Salesforce. So basically, our talk will consider out of two topics. So we will discuss with you uh, how to different use cases, and afterwards we will have a Q&A section which will be for you to add your questions, and our team will respond to these questions. Before that, we want to have a bit of warming up, and for that reason I would encourage you to take your phones and play a little bit in Kahoot. On your screens, you can see a QR code, which you should scan, or you can simply enter Kahoot it and enter a pin you can see on your screen. So let's join the quiz and warm up. Mhm. Okay, 4 people for now. So while you're joining, I will explain a little bit about the mechanics of today's call. It will be recorded and broadcasted and afterwards published on our YouTube channel. And you will have a chance to watch it even afterwards. And besides, we will add the list of use cases which we will demonstrate during today's call. So everything will be available at hand. All right, I see 20 people already in the room. Let's wait for some more people. For those of you who are not familiar with this tool, just you will use your phone as a remote controller and provide the responses to the questions um, we will share on the screen. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's wait maybe for a few more people to join. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, we have 30 people. Time to jump to questions. So let's see how you feel about ChatGPT in general. So what ideas come to mind when you hear about it? And we wonder what association you have with ChatGPT. So you have 1 minute to enter your responses. Okay. 9 answers. 10. Great. Maybe some of you are excited while the others are quite concerned about this new technology and have some fears. Let's see. Okay, 19 answers. You have 20 seconds left. All right, 8 seconds left. Mm-hmm. All right, looks like we are ready. And here is the word cloud. All right, it's my best friend. I like it. Helper. Okay, AI, smart advisor, learning tool. Yes, totally agree with you. Conversational AI. All right. Something strange in you. Yes, it was like that a little bit for me as well. Okay, I see that for most of you, the attitude towards ChatGPT is quite positive, and this is great news. And I believe that today, during the call, you will learn something new for yourself. Okay, now let's see the audience and let's see what role do you play in your Salesforce, what Salesforce expertise you have. Okay. Okay, somebody is not aware of the role yet. Uh-huh. Okay, 12 seconds left. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So the majority of today's audience is in software engineering. Great news, guys. We have a big section for software engineering. Some of you are in architecture. And we also have guys from the consultancy, administration, management, and just simply users of the platform. Sounds good. Okay. And jumping to the last question. So have you already used ChatGPT? Probably some of you were so much occupied that didn't have a chance to done it yet. Mm-hmm. Okay, 6 seconds left. Okay, the majority of you have already used ChatGPT. We have a small portion of people who have not yet. I want to believe that today's Tech Talk will inspire you to test this tool. And thus, so guys, thank you so much for participation. Let's not wait any longer. And I'm passing my words to the first speaker who will give you the highlight of what ChatGPT is and how to use it.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thanks, everyone. So hope everyone see my screen. And yeah, like I'm gonna share like a solution architecture section in this presentation. So, but we have two more sections, really interesting, more practical ones. After solution architecture, you will see some examples how solution architect can use it. Then developers will be interested in the developer section, and BAs. So yeah, we don't have much time, so we have a lot of materials. So let me proceed. So my name is Yuri. I'm solution architect, working in EPAM right now. Have more than 10 years of experience in Salesforce, different domains. Most of my career, I was working for consulting companies, so had the chance to work for different clients, and as well have certificates. Like I'm mostly proud for architects, one of them. So I just complete all the prerequisites for CTA. All right, quick introduction. Who don't know what's GPT? GPT is generative pre-trained transformator, which is an large language model. So that means that this is a artificial neutral network, and it's like trained on a large amount of data, like on terabytes of data. And yeah, like as well, this is a large models. Large language models are trained on a with self how to name it, with self-trained at some point, because yeah, it's really large amount of data and it's hard to supervise this training. So yeah, cannot dive into more details in there. And so yeah, like main topic is how ChatGPT and this and its product can be helpful for architects in their day-to-day work. So main architect activities in consulting company, you may experience with them, maybe not, but usually it's like some pre-sale activities. When in consulting company we need to obtain new client and we need to showcase our strengths, and help to prepare some presentation. Discovery phases, if we take some job for client, and so but it's like trial period when we can learn what client have. And delivery phase, I guess everyone, like any kinds of architect, is involved in delivery phase. So how it can be helpful for us? So in pre-sale, it helps to amend the text for non-native speakers, generates summary from a long text. So when we learn documentation, for instance, provided by client, uh, help us to define alternative solution. So each person, each human is biased by his previous experience. So it's really nice to have some other alternative vision. And yeah, generate some assumptions. For discovery phase, again, alternative opinion, alternative solutions uh, helps to identify quality attributes. You may consider it as well as uh, non non non-functional requirements as well. Uh, help to identify potential risks. Some of the cases that I explained here will be like we will deep dive into them, and our another architect Lubov will like show you how to use ChatGPT for that, like more real life examples. And for delivery phase, yeah, we can polish documentation. Like we are humans, we make mistakes, so yeah, we can use ChatGPT for polishing documentation and like avoid some typos, so on and so forth. Yeah, and research in my company where I'm currently work. ChatGPT made a lot of noise, as in like all around the world in technical industries. So yeah, and a group of architects perform research and check how ChatGPT, how much more performance we can gain with using not only our brains as an architects, but as well like augment it with the ChatGPT. As I said, ChatGPT is trained on terabytes of data, including GitHub, including Wikipedia. It's impossible to learn by single people, so it has a lot inside. So yeah, architect productivity grows. Some positive points ChatGPT. So defining of quality attributes, it doubles productivity of architect. Again, non-technical requirements. You can supply some use cases, explain how system looks like, and so ChatGPT will help you and will offer you some non-technical attributes that are important for the system. Architecture design. So it's helpful in explaining it in text, but yeah, it's really depends on if you're familiar with technology as an architect or not. For instance, you're a Java developer and you're not familiar with Salesforce. So for you, you will gain like 3 times faster. You will have you will be 3 times faster in designing something because you're not familiar with technologies. If you know something out of heart, so yeah, you just it don't gives you much more productivity, but 40% is not a bad number as well. Total cost of ownership estimation. So yeah, sometimes clients interested, so they have a solution, we implement it, and yeah, how much it will cost. No one can be familiar with all the pricing models of Azure, AWS, Salesforce, and so on and so forth. But yeah, ChatGPT is quite good in that. So you can consider, you can like, you need to keep in mind that it's trained on old data, like couple of years back pricing, but yeah, anyway, it gives pretty accurate estimation, and so you just need to verify it. Architecture decision log as well. You can gain, you can be 2 times faster with generation architecture decision log. Creating roadmaps, not so good, but yeah, at least a little bit improvement. And yeah, again, you can talk with someone. Like artificial intelligence is not the best, is not the bad bad guy to advise something. Tools comparison, again, twice you can be twice more productive with tools comparison, so you don't need to Google something. ChatGPT can just help you with providing pros and cons of different tools. So you can build battle card, you can check products and compare them using ChatGPT. Learning technologies. This one I really like. So by conversation with ChatGPT, you always learn. If you don't know you're learning definitely. So you're asking some question, you like learning how to properly ask, and as we all know, like a good question is 70% percent of good answer. So yeah, you need to properly ask your question and formulate it. So and it will help you to learn and to improve your skills. Uh, Presentation preparation. So we will have some demo maybe today for BAs, but yeah, for presentation for graphical data, ChatGPT 4 is not very good. But yeah, anyway, it will help with text as well. So ChatGPT is not doing well for uh, in some areas where architect work. So in identifying business goals and drivers, so it more or less like the business goals and drivers are built on conversation with clients. So it's some non-verbal information. You can read it like from the faces of your counterparty, and so on and so forth. So you can formulate it, but yeah, it's not really much gain from this in this area. Diagram creation, not helpful at all. So ChatGPT cannot draw yet anything, so it's just text. You can try to find some formal languages from which you can create diagrams. But yeah, in general, out of the box, it's not helping. That's something you as an architect will need to do yourself. And yeah, there was estimated breakdown structure and time estimates. So yeah, it's not really relevant. So it requires some experience. It requires of understanding risks, technologies, so on and so forth. So ChatGPT is not doing well in defining like what kind of team do we need, what roles do we need, and estimation of time. So it's still manual work. So I would like to recommend you other tools, not only ChatGPT. For instance, ChatGPT, which already published in paid, and it's paid. So yeah, maybe your company already have it. Maybe you can try it by your own cost. ChatGPT 5, which is like yeah, everyone expects it. It's gonna be revolutionary thing, but yeah, still waiting for ChatGPT 5. GPT plugins. So there are a couple of copilots. Guys, if you don't know what's copilot, is basically something integrated in your IDE and which can help you to write the code, gives an advice. Many times, like very often, really good advice. Not production ready code. You still need to modify it, but yeah, at least you write less unnecessary lines, and yeah, it can make you an advice. So Microsoft and GitHub. So bad news is they don't have anything for Apex or for Lightning. Bing AI, so it's available in Edge browser. So again, you can try to edit. It's mostly like intellectual search with the Bing search engine, and yeah, it gives you like some response, short response, and a couple of links where to learn more. Google Bard, really nice AI chat which you can use, and it's integrated with the Google products. For instance, you can make requests, then you can ask for the pictures, you can ask to build a map from your request, you can ask to save results of your request in a spreadsheet, for instance, or in PowerPoint. So, and yeah, if you use in your company Google products or at home, so BART is really cool things and working really seamless with those Google provided tools. Yeah, Einstein GPT for Salesforce really important. So it was introduced, it was demoed. Right now you can subscribe and for the like showing pre-release for early access of it. And again, it's really good. So it helps Salesforce in multiple areas. So in sales, it can generate email, product description. In support, it can help to write proper messages to client. And what we interested more is development. So it can generate flows for you, it can generate code for you, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you can Google it. You can send your request to have access like to the pre-release of this functionality, but it's not available yet. All right, that's my part, and yeah, more practical examples will be provided by Lubov. Lubov, are you ready to proceed?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much. And okay, guys, hi. My name is Lyubov, and I'm Salesforce Solution Architect. I'm really happy to show you few examples that can actually demonstrate how all these numbers and conclusions that you mentioned um, can be done. So yeah, and smaller spoiler at the beginning. So I do not have full prompts or these responses from a ChatGPT on the slides because it's really huge amount of text. It's big text. So we decided to put all our cases to dedicated files that will be available for you on the. So we will have QR code on the last slide. You will be able to download that file, investigate that, and I will be more than happy to answer to any questions if you will have. So jumping to our use cases. And the first topic that I want to describe, we name it a text, and it's actually everything that is related to working with text. And in this particular use case, example that I want to present for you today. So I'm working as an architect on the project, and we had a meeting with external team that is building commerce platform, and we are building that integration. So we discussed data flow, we come to some agreements about fields and so on. So I've made my personal meeting notes, and I was going to actually write follow-up email. And I've decided why do not ask ChatGPT to do it for me? And I've put this my personal meeting notes to the chat. I've added just short context as I've done for you that it was a meeting, who was participants and so on. And I asked ChatGPT to generate this email for me. And it's really great result because as you can see, it's great structure. There is this greeting part, there is main part with kind of bullet points that highlight all the agreements that I had in my personal meeting notes, and it's written in a good English, and it saved me like 30 minutes of my life. So good result. Just small highlights that I want to give you on this particular case is that as much context you give to the ChatGPT, the better result you will have. Because, just to give this meeting notes to the chat and say, please create me meeting follow-up will lead to not so good result. But when you're describing that context, the result will be better. And just my personal recommendation, still review that outcomes, maybe some tuning will be required, maybe some additional prompts will be required. So the next example that I have for you, we had a client who was interested to use some tools from AppExchange that can help them to backup production data. So what we've done, we asked ChatGPT to make this data analysis for us. So we had these parameters from our clients that they're looking for solutions that will be cost-effective, that will be able to work with a large amount of data. And I really like this result because actually ChatGPT made this analysis for us, and it's great structured based on the all parameters. We have information about every single App Exchange package that can perform this functionality. And what is good as well, that you can tune this request for another client and change the parameters. And again, it will be done pretty fast. So that's a great result, I do believe, on how ChatGPT can be utilized. The only one pitfall that I see here is that if you are going to use ChatGPT 3.5, it can have outdated information. So please be careful with the versions that you are using. And if you are aware that it has outdated information, you will need to review that outcomes manually on the App Exchange or wherever in Google. Next example, it's actually coming back to the first case. So I have this project, we have an integration with commerce team, and we, as agreement for our integration, we decided to use platform events, and guys was required to subscribe to it. And for sure, as guys from external commerce platforms, they are not aware about comedy, about Salesforce platform and so on. So they asked us to give them some kind of instruction, how to establish connection, how to subscribe to this event. So what we decided to do, we decided that we are lazy to Google, we are lazy to write this instruction by our own. We decided to ask ChatGPT to generate it. So pretty good result here as well. So that instruction, it is really step-by-step instruction, and it's actually cover both Salesforce and that external part sites, like everything that should be done in Salesforce to establish connection, what should be shared, what kind of library should be downloaded and added to that external code base. So everything covered, and also that language model even generated code samples for us. That's great. Highlights here. So as I did not explain exactly what kind of authentication mechanism we are going to use, that model described that login password authentication flow will be used, and all the step was around this one. But in our project, we are going to use certificates for authentication. So just small tuning was required. I've just write a new follow-up prompt asking ChatGPT to regenerate that instruction, taking into account that we are actually going to use authentication, blah, blah, blah. So that's it about this particular use case. And the last but not least, here we were interesting to understand, actually myself personally, it was interesting to understand how ChatGPT can implement, can design some solutions. So I had a project a few years ago where our client was interested to have sales portfolio, and I put the description of that project that I had in my mind into the ChatGPT, and I asked that language model to create the solution design. And it actually was a different design. It was everything was around customization of the Salesforce solution. The design was really high level. I'm not happy about that, but the requirements was as well on pretty high level. What I do not like here as well is that ChatGPT proposed to use some outdated technology like workflow rules. And I would say that this case demonstrated for us that as better you give prompts and context, the better result you will have. But for the people who are wondering that we will lose our job, I can say that for the next few years, still we will have some job, because our clients usually do not have clear and detailed requirements or explanation what they want. Still, architects or consultant will be required to kind of interpretate that requirement that client have to the prompt that ChatGPT can use to generate this model. So as a conclusion, I would strongly recommend you to use ChatGPT, and it's really great tool. And the more that you use it, the best result you will receive. So you kind of build that skill to generate prompts. ChatGPT already know your context, and the results became better and better. But the only one thing that I want to highlight again, always validate that result that chat generated for you, because it's not always, it can be not relevant, it can be that you missed some context. So it's important to validate everything. If you are not an expert, invite subject matter expert who can help you. And the last, never share customer or personal data if you are using public version. And on that, I'm passing word to Patrick, and he will proceed with software engineering part. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Libo. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be with you on Tech Talk today. Yes, my name is Patrick. I'm working at EPAM. I have around 8 years of experience in IT. And currently I'm working on a team tech lead position. And yes, I'm going to show you a couple of areas where using of ChatGPT can be useful in software engineering. So let's move on for first area, and it's about high-level technical design. So if we move to the context, this is something which was already described by Yuri and Libov. I'm going to show you some example. In my case, I prompted to the chat following request. Hi, please act as Salesforce solution architect. I want to synchronize data between Salesforce and external system. After each record of account change, external system needs to be notified, and changes don't need to be synchronized immediately. On the right part of the screen, you can see the response that I received from the chat. Please don't focus on the response itself because it's lots of text. But what I wanted to highlight for you is that chat really nicely proposed different solutions and different approaches, how this our technical requirements might be solved. Therefore, yes, I think this is great benefit from using ChatGPT in this particular scenario. And what is especially interesting, you might see that all of these three approaches proposed by chat, that they are also nicely break down by the pros and cons. Yes, and to summarize this scenario, I think the benefits coming from using ChatGPT here are the clear and non-expertise bias, a picture of available options and tools that might apply for solution. This is especially important because, as you might know, we tend to be biased by our experience. And speaking about myself, I was for most of my career a software developer, so I naturally was biased by this approach where we try to deliver new features using custom code, right? And here ChatGPT might be especially useful to also propose some other solutions which are not from my expertise, which I actually really appreciate. Another great benefit coming from this use case is comparison of pros and cons that gives a nice entry point for brainstorming. So we have nicely listed all the pros and cons, and I think this is great starting point where we can try to compare, we can try to discuss different solutions, we can prepare a couple of different approaches for our customer, and we have really nice clear picture, so we can easily work on that. Also, there is a possibility to learn about some new approaches that might not be known for user. This is, of course, a bit related for the first benefit that I listed, that we sometimes might be biased by the approaches that are coming from our expertise. Yes, that would be it about the first area. Let's move forward. The code generation. Of course, this is not the most beneficial part. of using ChatGPT. Though I still think this is really nice to present it for you as maybe some kind of demo of capabilities that ChatGPT can do for Salesforce. Starting from the example, I put this simple prompt for chat. It follows like, "Hi, please act as Salesforce Apex expert with knowledge of all best practices regarding writing high-quality and object-oriented code. Provide me with a code of class that sends data about all accounts to external system. Mind, please, that there is a lot of account records in my organization." And what is especially important in this response that I received from the chat, which you can see on the right part of the screen, is that ChatGPT proposed me, of course, the full class implementation that is going to achieve the pasted requirements. But Chat used here the batchable interface, which proves that Chat is really nicely aware about the specifications of the platforms, because as we know, the batchable interface is especially designed to process millions of records, right? Which was one of my special requirements about lots of account records in my organization. Therefore, I think it's really nice. What else we have? We can see that all the methods from interface were nicely implemented: start, execute, and finish method. Also, we see that the request for external system was executed in separate method. We also see on top of the class the endpoint, which is hard-coded here, actually. So that all proves that the chat is really nicely aware and capable of generating high-quality Apex code. To summarize, the benefits of using ChatGPT in this scenario are about decreasing time when designing Apex code, in some cases even by 70%, quick scripting and POCs generation, and also for less experienced software engineers, ChatGPT gives ability to learn some of the best practices for other techniques of resolving similar technical challenges. And what I'm talking here about is maybe if you see closer for this example, we have used here the method, use of method get populated fields as map, which comes from the sObject class. This is not a very popular method in Apex development, but in this case, it is working perfectly fine because it allows us to directly convert our sObject into JSON format, which is actually fitting perfectly for our scenario because we want to send this record for external system, right? So this is really simplifying our work. Yes, that would be it about this scenario. Speaking about the next one, what I wanted to present you is about the code review process. I will jump directly to request that I sent to the chat. It's pretty straightforward. So the request is as following: please review the previous code snippet from the perspective of using solid principles, SRP, error handling, and Salesforce best practices, and list please what could be improved to maximize the quality, readability, and maintainability of the code. So as you might see in this following request, I asked Chat to review the code that he provided for me in the previous response. On the right side, you might see the list that Chat provided for me with all the improvements that we might apply for the code. So you can imagine the situation when we have our ChatGPT implemented into our pipelines and pull request review process. And when one of software engineers submit pull request for review, then ChatGPT automatically scans the changes and he's proposing the code review based on the changes. The proposed improvements are related for single responsibility principle. So ChatGPT nicely pointed here about making the HTTP callout from external class called HTTP service. So it decouples the class for us and we have less dependencies like hard dependencies. Open close principle. It's about making our SOQL query as a parameter, and also a couple of best practices from Salesforce directly. It's about hard-coded URL. Of course, this is very nice point. So we can move our hard-coded URL, for example, for named credentials, right? So it's stored securely, and it's also it's not hard-coded in the code base. To summarize, the benefits coming from this scenario, it's of course improved overall code quality, which is the main point of code review. Knowledge spread also across the team, especially when implemented to continuous integration and pull request review process. This is what I told about, and speeded up code review process, which of course makes impact on the whole delivery process, which is speeded up by this. All right, that would be it. And unit test generation. This is a very nice use case for ChatGPT, I would say. Context here is, of course, to generate the code of classes for unit test. And simple request that I provided for the chat, provide me please with Apex unit test for above class using all Salesforce best practices. Please use non-admin user. And by this simple prompt for the chat, I was granted in response by whole body of class of unit test, which contains lots of best practices from Salesforce. As you can see, we have like two main parts of it. First part is about the test scenario itself, and on bottom of class there is even implementation of callout mock. Which is great, I think, and this helped to save a lot of time during the development. And exactly the nature of unit test is about writing lots of code, which is very simple, like the data creation, like insertions for database, data preparations, and the scenario creations. There is lots of this boilerplate code, which makes it perfect use case for applying ChatGPT and code generation here. And to summarize, yes, the benefits are about the repetitive tasks like test data creation is fully automated, so engineers can focus on creative work. Code coverage by unit test is increased due to easiness of generation number of test scenarios, both positive and negative, which manually done is time consuming. And I calculated for my examples that generation unit tests by this approach is about 80% shorter, which is, in my opinion, great achievement. Yes, and that would be it actually from my end. Thank you all. I'm looking for your questions, of course, and I will pass my voice now to Igor.
Thanks, Patrick. It's happy to be here in this tech talk, and today I will cover the consulting part and a few words about myself. So I've been in the Salesforce industry for more than 8 years. I've been playing different roles from a Salesforce consultant to a product owner, being more on the business side, but also leading the team. So I tried myself wearing different hats in different domains. Currently, I'm working for EPAM. Before that, I worked in 2 other Salesforce consultancies. And before jump into the use cases, I wanted to quickly just go over who is the Salesforce consultant and what is the scope of work of the consultant. So typically, it's the person who very well understands business and the tech part, which is in our case Salesforce, and can understand how to better leverage a feature or a product or a platform and the whole ecosystem, depending on the scale of the problem. And typically, we're good at knowing the tech part because it's our domain, but industry knowledge can be very tricky because there's multiple verticals, multiple different business challenges that businesses are looking to solve. And one of the good things that ChatGPT can help us with is to actually, on the business part, to get up to speed quickly with industry-specific knowledge. part of the work of consultants is to work closely with business and the development teams, and the communication and the presentation, being clear about what you say, persuading, is important. Usually you use some kind of presentations for that. And today I will cover also the use case of how ChatGPT can help you a bit with that. And then before, I also wanted to give a bit of context about the levels of generative assistance. This is very much aligned with Salesforce, how they see it. So we have simple level, which is basically like Googling things, learning, translating, summarizing a thread of emails, generating some description. So guys before covered a few use cases of that. Also tailored approach, which is very frequently used for prompt engineering, like act as, address a specific audience. So your language is more applicable for your listeners. So you would want to change the let's say the wording and the tone of voice, speaking to end users, to business, to developers, to architects. You might want to adjust that. And then sometimes you're facing something very complex, and by just asking what it is, you get a very technical language in the area that you don't understand naturally. So you can try to, level it down to explain for a 12-year-old as an example, and then from that you can build up your basic understanding, and then get into more details. And the contextual part is actually the most interesting one, is where you feed data to ChatGPT, and then based on the context of that data, it produces the results. So for contextual, the more data, the more let's say variables you pass to the engine, the more accurate results you have. And actually, the Salesforce is doubling down on this one. So Einstein GPT is all about these tailored and contextual models, is where you could use your Salesforce data to train the model and be very contextual, be very accurate to your specific, your specific data to produce high quality results. So also. So learning, right? Very simple one. As I mentioned, just ask ChatGPT a specific question about what you're interested in, and you get some results. So for example, you can ask if you're new to, let's say, Service Cloud and customer care centers, how they operate. You can ask the question, what are the functional areas for a customer care center? And ChatGPT will give you a pretty decent results. And then, while talking then to business, you will already understand on a high level what kind of area they operate, and then you can of course go deeper and deeper into every sections of this to get a better understanding. For contextual and tailored cases, actually prompt engineering is super important, and that's, you can follow the steps for creating your requests, like act as, and then you specify the role. Create an output, be specific about what kind of response do you want to have. Is it the feedback, description, summary, or code coverage? For example, as Patrick gave an example, if you're a business analyst, acting as a business analyst, you frequently work on acceptance criteria. You can ask for that, and then you ask for a specific format, right? You can use coding, of course, but also Yuri mentioned that diagramming is not ideal, indeed, but there are some you can trick a bit if you know how the UML code operates. You can ask for it, play with it. The results might not be ideal, but for simpler cases, it usually works good. And then tailored is an example given. We want to act as a the context is to create some kind of a framework to assess certain state or process. In our example, it would be act as a Salesforce technical consultant. You're doing a review of client's org, and you need to evaluate its technical state. So where do you start, right? You can ask ChatGPT, gives you a pretty good overview of what are the sections. And then there's going to be a link to that actual chat with ChatGPT, and you can see that there you can specify about each section, and it will give you actually a good good results. For example, like code coverage, it will give you exactly that your target should be 75%, and so on and so forth. So the benefit is really time savings to create structured evaluation criteria. And then also one of other example of contextual is creating acceptance criteria for the user stories. That's a typical work that a business analyst would do. You can ask ChatGPT to act as a business analyst, again, following that prompt engineering pattern. And then you specify a user story. This is very practical one for customer care. Case status changes. And then while your QA team will create test cases, they would need to understand what are the acceptance criteria, positive as well as negative. So this is a quite good results. Again, you should always check what it produces. Don't trust it 100%, but it's a good baseline to start. Will probably save you quite some time just by having this as a baseline. And then one of the contextual ones is actually for the presentation. This example I really liked because you can use ChatGPT for, let's say, asking you to create a structure for your presentation. You can give the context, what is the audience, what kind of, how many slides do you want? But this one puts it to the next level. So you can actually ask for the VBA code that is used in PowerPoint. And then just copy this code, put it in the presentation, and adjust the style. So I just want to show you a quick demo how that looks. So this is my Chat GPT window. So that's the case that I had in the slides. So I'm going to just copy the code from here. So you see it's pretty well generated here. And then I'm going to the new presentation, go to Tools, Macro, Visual, Basic Editor. And here I'm inserting a module and putting this code in. And as you can see, I'm getting a pretty decent output, right? It's just a text only. But then if you use Designer, and yeah, you can probably have your company templates loaded. So you can create something very, very, nicely looking in like 5 minutes, basically, right? And then in the prompt, as you noticed, I asked for specific metrics. So it gives you, in the VBA, it creates these blocks that are sequenced. It includes the percentage. So it's pretty satisfactory results to start with. And then, of course, you're free to, let's say, put more details into it, put more images, put more context. So yeah, this is all the use cases I wanted to show today to be practical. And yeah, so I think just to summarize, what we've seen today is we've seen how ChatGPT can help expedite some of the routine tasks depending on your role. But what is equal for everyone is that it doesn't matter what role you have in the industry. You can find that you can find some use cases where it can help you. It's not gonna substitute people. So ChatGPT is not thinking for you. It's just think of it as a calculator to expedite some mathematical work that you need to do. And the best way to actually understand how it can help you is actually try it. It's free, and yeah, you can play around with it. And the main probably message, the key outcome, if you want to take out of this session, is that it's not going to substitute people, but people using AI will outpace people who are not using AI. And on this note, I'm passing back the word to Alex for Q&A. I think we have a few questions in the chat.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for your presentation and for conclusions made. Yep. So we have already received a bunch of questions. So let's start. And the first question is, what we can do if customer will use ChatGPT and they will receive a result and those results will not be 100% correct and they don't believe you that this is not a right approach. Okay, I think Lyubov can help us with the question.
Yes, for sure. So it's actually can happen even right now because some of our clients currently has their Salesforce developers or architects that can kind of give us that their vision and their understanding of the solution. And it's our responsibility as an architect to know how to highlight client some non-functional requirements that, for example, was missed in the solution design. And it's one of the skills that we as architects have and know how to kind of build the solution based on tons of different areas. It's not only about functional requirements, but also we know what is non-functional requirements that you mentioned, quality attributes and all these things. And yeah, if you will show your clients that building that approach, you will not consider, for example, performance and amount of data that will be in the system, and that it will lead to the fact that system will work slow. And for example, to create a lead, it will took 3 minutes. I do believe client will start to kind of thinking about another approach. I hope I've answered the question.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, so before I jump to the next question, on the screen you can see the QR code with the examples which were shared during the call, so feel free to scan them and to check on your free time. And yeah, I'm jumping to the next question. Is there a security way to train the GPT model on the customer data in the org? Okay, I'm passing my words to Igor.
Hey, so it's a very good question. The question is, right now, I don't believe you can with ChatGPT, but Salesforce is actually presenting Einstein GPT, which the main, let's say, the main feature of the Einstein GPT is actually to be able to use your data, use customer data from your org, from external data sources, and process it and have full control over what data to include, what data to exclude, what company policies to apply to sentiment of if it produces some replies to customers. So I think that's an exciting development for the Salesforce industry to look for the general availability of Einstein GPT. Hope that answers your question.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds good. Okay, next question. Do you think that because of ChatGPT, number of Salesforce specialists will decrease or just a growth will slow down? Let me ask Yuri to help with this question.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I guess for developers, it's developer position is quite safe. There is a big shortage on the markets across the world for Salesforce developers. But definitely, like it's paradigm shift, and all the developers, like sooner or later, need to know how to work with AI and how to be more productive with AI. For instance, Salesforce have Einstein GPT, which is right now not available, but in your Visual Studio Code ID, you will be able to use it as Copilot as well. So yeah, be ready for that. Learn AI, how it can help you, to be more productive, do less boring stuff. But yeah, I don't think it will in short term like reduce number of Salesforce developer positions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good news for us. The next question. Is using ChatGPT for code review secure? It could have access to some sensitive data. I think that Igor can help us with this question.
Yeah, so of course, the recommendation is never share your sensitive data with ChatGPT, because this is, you don't know how, right now the public doesn't know how this information, where it's stored, how it's processed. So it's one of the key considerations not to share anything, any sensitive data with ChatGPT or any other AI tool. So whenever so then, if you don't share the sensitive data, then you're good with that.
Okay, thank you. Just stay secure. So guys, we are running out of time for now, but we see all your questions and we will provide you with the responses as a follow-up. You can find these responses on our We Are community page. And at the end, we will share the link. And we invite you to the upcoming Tech Talk, which will be in a couple of weeks, where we will discuss DevOps in Salesforce. You can join, register by the link. And for now, we are grateful for your questions. We are grateful to speakers for their presentation, and hope that you will apply ChatGPT in your work with Salesforce. That's it for today. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye-bye.